Welcome to this episode of Ask Amy. Today we're talking about roofing. Kind of want to call this Roofing 101, and I've got some guests here today to help me out with this. We have Christian and Jennifer Hernandez. They are the owners of JC&C Roofing Company here in Houston. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, I mean, so like a lot of things that I report on, I sort of have some of these experiences myself and talk to other people and then realize, hey, a lot of people have these same questions with roofs right now in Houston. I mean, when you get your roof put on or you move into a new home, a lot of us are told that, oh, your roof is supposed to last 30 years. But then come to find out after like 15 years, you start hearing from insurance companies that, oh, you're going to need a new roof. I mean, so I invited you guys on to kind of walk us through some of these things. Why? I mean, does any roof last 30 years in Texas?
That is a really good question. The roof are designed for last 30 years or even more or even longer. But the main problem that we are facing here with the roofing industry is this. For example, I see the problem number one is the lack of maintenance.
Lack of maintenance.
Lack of maintenance would be the problem number one. For example, having a vehicle and you never replaced the oil change, you didn't change the tires, you didn't maintenance the vehicle is not going to last that long because of lack of maintenance. Number one, every 5 years is recommended to do a lack of maintenance, to do a maintenance on your roof, but that one depends on where you live.
Oh.
For example, if you live in another area, that is surrounded by a lot of trees, you need to do it periodically, at least twice a year.
Okay.
The maintenance. Okay.
Are we talking about maintenance that I can do myself or maintenance I need to hire a roofing company for?
Honestly, it's not recommended to do it yourself because they require some certain expertise to climb in your roof, dispose all the debris from the trees. Also, for protection, will be easier and more affordable for you to call a roofing company to come in and maintenance and service your roof. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I will say that another issue that we are facing is when, I don't know, you ever heard the word builder's grade?
Builder's grade, yes.
Okay, the roof, the shingles is sometimes the only components on your roof that is designed to last 30 years.
Only the shingles would last 30 years. So other parts on my roof are going to give out before that.
Correct. And that is what led you to a leakage. For example, one of the main problems are the vent flashing, the plumbing flashings. They are putting rubber boots that they only going to last from 8 to 12 years.
The rubber boots, the flashings, and all those things are designed to keep the water out.
And another problem that we're facing too. The standard warranty on the 30-year shingle is 110 to 130 miles per hour, the wind warranty coverage. But they are installing ridge cap for cut corners that they only designed to last 60 years.
Okay, I'm repeating after some of what you're saying. Ridge caps to go on your roof, those are only designed to last 60 years?
60
miles an hour wind. Okay.
Do sustain 60 miles per hour wind.
Okay.
And that is a big issue that you're seeing. And another problem that we have, and I believe that this is the main problem, it is that because of the climate change, we are seeing at least once a year a hailstorm over our area. And most of the time, the people think that it's not a big deal because they say, oh, this was a small hail. But if knock it off the ground on your shingles, it is a big deal. But the problem is this, that you as a homeowner, you are on the middle of the insurance company and the middle of the manufacturer. For example, what manufacturer says about if you have any small hailstorm, your warranty is void. Your 30 years or 50 years warranty is completely void.
And that was probably the biggest reason why you would have damage to your roof is a hailstorm, and your warranty doesn't cover hail damage.
Correct. And that one shortened off the life of the roof. That's problem number one.
Okay.
Problem number two, the hail that we get in our area, in most of the cases, is not big enough to fracture the shingle. And based on the insurance guideline, the hailstorm, they had to be big enough to fracture the shingle to be considered a total loss.
Okay.
If it's not big enough, it's no guarantee. It's no the insurance company. They will deny you coverage because they say there is not enough damage. But the manufacturer as well is gonna be saying that you don't have that the warranty is void.
The warranty's voided because it was hail damage, but it wasn't big enough hail damage for your insurance company to give you a new roof. So then homeowners are sort of stuck.
Correct.
So Jennifer, you are sort of the one in your company that takes those calls, that deals with insurance companies and customers. And through this episode today, we want to talk about all things. We're going to give you tips on if you do have to hire a roofer, what to do, what not to do to try to lower your risk of falling into a scam, but then also some things about dealing with insurance companies and actual cash value. We're going to get to all of that. But I kind of wanted you, Jennifer, to share sort of what you're seeing. And it sounds like what I also encountered, which is insurance companies letting homeowners know that we need a new roof. We've got no leaks. We've got nothing, but you're between a rock and a hard place because the insurance company says, well, we're going to cancel your policy unless you get a new roof.
Correct. It's so sad to hear those stories, Amy. Every time, the homeowner calls in the office and say, oh, I got these letters, insurance companies asking me to get a full roof replacement. They're going to drop the coverage. I had a customer last week who said that he got a letter with actually satellite image. They didn't even go to the property.
The insurance company flew a drone or satellite image over their house.
They went online, get satellite pictures of the property. They kind of saw how the roof looked, and they send the letter out saying that the roof needs some work done, and that they need to actually take some action so that they can actually continue coverage. You see all these changes, and a lot of the times because policies are changing.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's getting dropped from, I say everybody, but
yes,
it's a big problem right now.
You get in this new, you get, as a homeowner, you get these updates that, oh, your policy is going to change. Here's a new change in your policy. And sometimes we read it, we might not read it, and something changed in the roof endorsements. You have to read those endorsements. Mm-hmm. You have to read your policy if you're actually getting into a contract, because in the end, it's a contract between you and the insurance company. You have to understand what they're playing with.
Right. Yeah. And if they're sending pictures of my roof from a satellite, then obviously I do want to call a roofer and say, well, could you get up there and tell me what you see?
Yes, definitely. That's the first step. Calling, a reputable roofing company. Go online and get them and see the reviews and if they offer a free inspection and storm damage inspection on your roof, so that they can actually find out if your roof actually it's damaged, mm-hmm. what type of damages, what's the condition of the roof, if that is the case that you're being forced to replace the roof, if the roof has a substantial storm damage. Mm-hmm. And I say substantial because it needs to have some type of fracture and a lot of sustainable damage on the roof that the insurance can say, yes, it's actually covered or not, because they have different guidelines.
Right.
They follow different guidelines, different insurance carriers, on how they're going to approve the roof replacement. And once the roof replacement is approved, what it's approved and what is not approved.
Right. Like it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pay for a whole new roof, even though they tell you need a whole new roof.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I am seeing a lot of insurance carriers who start only approving you for roof repairs. And they say, okay, yes, you have damage. We're only going to approve you for 30 pieces of shingles, tabs. Mm-hmm. You need to replace 30 pieces of shingles on your roof. And your roof is probably 15 years old or 20. And sometimes you go to these properties and roof are not repairable.
It's not repairable. It needs to be completely replaced.
It needs to be completely replaced. So a lot of the times you need to find out, what it's really the condition, mm-hmm. so that you can actually find out if the damage can be repaired or not.
Okay. I want to talk more about this. We want to take a quick break. But what I should have said from the beginning is the reason that we invited you all here and why I think that so many homeowners get confused about this is the roofing industry is not licensed or regulated in the state of Texas. So there's not really anybody to call if I'm a consumer homeowner and I feel like somebody might be telling me the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing, or somebody to hold my hand and say what I should do. That doesn't exist.
No, that one doesn't exist in Texas. This is sad because in Texas, you need a license for do a haircut, mm-hmm. but you don't need a license for actually build a house or build a roof.
Yeah.
And building a roof, they require expertise to do the roof.
Right. but nobody's following behind you, making sure you've had XYZ training or.
One quick,
Sure.
something very quick. That I'm going to say this. The best protection for as a homeowner to hire a manufacturer certified contractor.
A manufactured certified contractor.
That is the best thing that you can do. You can go to GAF.com, Owens Corning, Certainty. Try to get for the biggest roofing companies. I'm sorry, big and roofing manufacturers.
Right.
And find a certified manufacturer contractor.
These are the companies that make the shingles and the roof, all that.
And this is the company that they are recommending the contractor. The advantage of you as a homeowner to hire one of those, because the shingle will be covered against manufacturer defect, number one, and the workmanship, the installation will be covered through the manufacturer up to 25 years.
So you'll get the workmanship, labor, and the manufacturer's shingles warranty of the product. Okay, we're going to be right back. We've taken a lot of time. But when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the most common ways that people get scammed and lose a lot of money by companies or people pretending to be roofers, or if they're just not following the best business practices. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ask Amy. We're talking about all things roofing because a lot of people are experiencing this right now where they've been told by their insurance company, or maybe a roofer knocks on your door after a hail incident and says, hey, I'd like to get on your roof, or you need a new roof. So we're going to run really quickly in this segment through some of the most common types of scams and things to watch out for. I'm going first. We have Christian and Jennifer Hernandez joining us with JC&C Roofing. So the first thing that we've always told people is those guys that come around, contractors, knocking on doors after a weather event saying like, hey, you know, we're in your neighborhood checking out roofs and doing some of your neighbors' roofs. Would you like us to go up and inspect your roof? We say, always say no, because it's been well known, it's been established, a scam before, that people will get on your roof and sometimes cause damage instead of actually inspecting it, cause some damage just so that they know that they'll convince you to file a claim and then they get a roofing job. Now, you were telling us, Jennifer, that it is common these days that a roofer might not even need to get on your roof.
Correct. I mean, right now we have such a great technology. We're using drones. Okay, so we actually, and a lot of reputable roofing companies are actually getting softwares that they can actually fly the drone and actually upload all the pictures to a software where they can actually find out if there is health or wind damage without climbing on your roof.
That's awesome.
And that's really without walking, causing damage with walking on the roof, or you know, thinking that they will do something to your roof. So this is really a great solution.
That is, and they can show you pictures of what they saw.
It's not an actual report.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, you're going to go next. Now, your next one is about that insurance payment. So say you're further along in the process, you know your insurance company is going to cover your roof replacement, and generally they send me, the homeowner, the check?
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of times they will send you the first payment, and which is the actual cash value, and one of the things that I always say, do not hand over these payments to the contractor immediately.
Just sign them over.
But sign it over. I mean, even if you have signed a contingency or you're waiting to sign this and you have not signed it, do not hand over the proceeds, your first payment to the insurance.
What should we do?
I mean, you should actually deposit it to your bank account. You can actually wait into, once you get far along with the contractor and see when you're going to get the job schedule, what materials you're going to use and everything. Make sure you actually read the terms for payment terms conditions on the contract that you sign with the contractor, so that you can actually see if they're asking or requesting it from you prior to starting the job, or actually the day they start the job and when they deliver materials. That's a safer way to do it, so that they will going to bring the equipment and materials and the crew to actually start it.
There should be like a payment schedule so that you're not giving them 100%.
Correct.
Or even 50 up front. Okay. Correct. All right, Christian, I want you to talk about, we talked about almost with everything you do these days, a company that you're going to hire says, okay, here, sign this. We got to be careful about that.
Be careful about that. Never sign a contingency up front without knowing and without negotiating what you are going to get in return.
So never sign what's called a contingency contract. I think what this means, tell me if I'm wrong, that if you know, I'm going to file a claim with my insurance company, they may say, hey, here, sign this. And what it does is say, if your insurance company approves this claim, you are basically saying, we are the company that's going to get to do that.
Correct. And that is what contingency actually means. But, like again, never sign a contingency agreement if you don't know upfront what you are getting. And also, is before to sign a contingency, make sure to do your homework properly. Make sure to check what is the warranty that you're going to get, the shingle that you're going to get, about the payment schedule, about repairs on the additional repairs that your roof may require. Make sure to having all that before you get stuck with the company. The best thing to do is this: do your research if the company is really, what is the reputation behind the company.
Their reputation. Like if you haven't had a chance to do all that research, definitely do not sign it. One thing that I think, since we do have a lot of these contractors that go door to door after weather events, I think it's important to remind people that in Texas, we have a 3-day right to cancel only with door to door sales.
Correct.
So if for some reason you get talked into something and you sign a contract, you can cancel it within 3 days. I mean, you got to make sure they're savvy about this too, that they're leaving you information on how to cancel it and who to get in touch with. And then a lot of times these roofing companies will come and just drop a bunch of materials on your property, like so that you're thinking, okay, I can't cancel it. They've already got their stuff here.
Correct.
I know we ran through those scams really quickly, some things to watch out for. When we come back, we want to talk more in depth about insurance companies, actual cash value, and we're going to get more into that, which I think a lot of people are going through a lot of these issues right now. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this Ask Amy episode all about roofing. Joining us are Jennifer and Christian Hernandez of JC&C Roofing. Okay, so the reason that I called you up, when I started experiencing some of this myself, I'm going to make my story short. My insurance company said, hey, we're covering you this year, but we're putting a note or flagging your account for non-renewal next year because your roof is 15 years old. It's going to be 16 years old. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I've got no issues, no leaks. So I call out a roofing company thinking I better get this taken care of before next year. And then this roofing company, who's recommended by somebody else, comes in and says, okay, so we're checking out your roof. And if you've got damage, now let's look at the hail events that we've recorded that insurance companies will accept in your area as possible claims, as hail with events with large enough hail that would have caused this damage on your roof. It all seemed very sketchy to me. And you said that's not sketchy.
Correct. It's not at all.
Why?
For this reason is this. You have a limited amount of time for how long you can file an insurance claim. I came across with a lot of homeowners that they don't want to file insurance claim because they don't want to be a headache for the insurance company. They want to save some insurance company money.
They want to save an insurance company money. Or but for whatever reason, when they had the hail event, they didn't file.
Yeah, they didn't file. But 2 years later or 3 years later, they find out that the roof is leaking. Or they are getting one of those letters from the insurance company saying that they're going to drop them if they don't replace it. In Texas, is something that's called a statute of limitation. By the law of Texas, you only have 2 years for file an insurance claim under the statute of limitation.
So there was a hail event. I didn't think I had any damage, but I have up to 2 years to file a claim.
Correct. But if you don't file a claim, then later you cannot use a day of loss because is no more cover. It's no longer coverage. But also you have another challenge that we can say that you filed during the year. Is something that is called recoverable depreciation.
Recoverable depreciation.
That recoverable depreciation is only you can recover only under the terms and conditions of your insurance policy. Every company, they have different terms and conditions about how to recover your depreciation.
Okay.
And we can, and then when you get paid, the insurance company, they're going to pay you under something that's called actual cash value.
Actual cash value. We've heard of this. Okay.
Yes. When you get paid under actual cash value, depends on who your homeowner Depends on who your homeowner
Insurance depends on who your company is.
who your carrier is. Okay, it's gonna be based on that, the amount of depreciation that's gonna be taken out of the claim. Let me put a brief example.
Okay.
If your roof is 30 years shingle, and I'm sorry, if you have it installed in your house a 30-year shingle, but your roof is 15 years old, and they are counting the roof as a 15 years old, and now it's an actual cash value policy. Insurance company, they will pay you the 50% of the cost of the roof. If the
Okay.
roof costs $15,000, they will apply the 50% of the depreciation. That we say that is $7,500.
Okay, so let me repeat just so people make sure that we're hearing correctly. So say that a new roof is going to cost me $15,000, but I'm only going to get actual cash value for this roof. So my insurance company is like, oh, well, you've already used half of your roof's life, 15 years. It's supposed to
Correct.
last 30. So now we're going to give you $7,500, half of that $15,000.
Correct, but not just that. In top of that, they will apply the deductible.
Oh, so now how much? So
Your
say let's
deductible
say
is
my
$4,000.
yeah. So then I have to say, okay, my roof, they're going to give me $7,500, or say that's what is covered. Then subtract my $4,000 deductible,
Correct.
and all of a sudden I'm only getting
$3,500.
$3,500.
Okay, that is what you get. All those customers that they are getting letters on their mail saying that the after 15 years the policy is going to change to the roof surface prorated schedule.
Oh, you got to say that again. Roof what?
Roof surfaces prorated schedule.
Roof surfaces prorated.
Schedule.
Okay.
Okay, I know that it's some fancy word and they do it
Yeah.
for confuse the homeowner, but what they are saying is this, that they are going to pay you now on actual cash value terms, no replacement cost coverage.
And you should be trying to get a policy that would offer full replacement of your roof.
Correct.
If you do, and the homeowner's insurance right now is bananas, but if you could get that you wouldn't have to worry about any of these, you've had your roof for 15 years and
for example, if you had the privilege to be in the military, and you were able to be in the military, and now you had the privilege to hire a company, it's called USAA, make sure to get them. Make sure USAA is paying everything on 100% replacement cost value.
yeah, they don't do actual cash value
They don't
policies.
do actual cash value.
Okay.
They do at the beginning, like every company. They depreciate the roof, and then when the roof has been completed, they release that recoverable depreciation check.
Okay. All right. This was all very good information. And I know that this last part that we've been talking about, maybe you think it sounds confusing. We're going to make sure we put all of this information in our show notes. We're also going to make sure we put a link to JC&C Roofing, because I know people might want to use you as a resource, ask for your opinion, if they need a new roof. And we appreciate you coming on explaining all these issues to our viewers.
Thank you so much. We are trying to put as much information that we can in our blog section. We're trying to...
In your blog section on your
blog
website.
section,
Yeah, and
our
we will
website.
link you to that as well. It'll all be in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, if you've got a question for me, you can email me at askamy@kprc.com. Have a great day.